लर्न इंग्लिश थ्रू स्टोरीज की इस सीरीज में आज मैं एक नई स्टोरी लेकर आई हूँ और ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाली है, स्पेशली उन लोगों के लिए जिनको डिटेक्टिव स्टोरीज बहुत पसंद है। तो हम इस वीडियो को शुरू करते हैं, लेकिन ये याद रखिएगा कि आपको केवल स्टोरी ही नहीं एंजॉय करनी, बट मैं आपको स्टोरी के एंड में कुछ क्वेश्चंस भी पूछने वाली हूँ, तो बहुत ही ध्यान से सुनिएगा। इससे आपका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन भी चेक होगा और आपको स्टोरी अच्छे से समझ में भी आएगी। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। Hey everyone, my name is Sonika and I'm your learning buddy. तो हमारी स्टोरी का टाइटल है द हिडन रूम। लेट्स स्टार्ट। In a small town near Shimla, there was a large old mansion. The locals called it the Roy Villa. It had stood empty for years, covered in dust and ivy. No one dared to enter it because strange stories surrounded the house. People said they heard noises at night, footsteps, doors creaking, and whispers, though no one lived there. The windows were cracked and the garden was overgrown with weeds. The house belonged to the Roy family, who had moved away after a tragedy. But now, after many years, a young man named Arjun had bought the house. He was a writer, looking for peace and inspiration to finish his next book. Arjun didn't believe in ghosts at the local rumors. He thought it would be a perfect, quiet place to live and write. One rainy afternoon, Arjun arrived at the mansion with his luggage. The caretaker, an old man named Ramlal, was waiting for him. Ramlal had been looking after the property since the Roy family left. "Are you sure you want to live here, Sahib?" Ramlal asked with concern in his voice. Arjun smiled. "Why not? It's a beautiful house and I'll be alone. Perfect for writing." Ramlal shook his head. "Just be careful, Sahib. The house has many secrets." Arjun ignored the warning. He liked the feeling of adventure. Little did he know that he was about to uncover a secret far more dangerous than he expected. Arjun settled into the mansion, choosing a cozy room on the first floor for his writing. The first few days were peaceful. He spent his mornings exploring the garden and the afternoons working on his novel. The mansion, despite its age, was quiet and calm. But soon, strange things began to happen. One night, as Arjun sat at his desk writing, he heard a noise. It was faint at first, like a soft knock. He thought it was wind, but then he heard it again. 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. It came from the wall behind his desk. Arjun paused and listened carefully. Maybe it's an old pipe, he thought, trying to dismiss it. But the knocking continued every night at exactly the same time, midnight. One evening, out of curiosity, Arjun got up and knocked back on the wall. To his surprise, he heard 3 knocks in response. His heart raced. "Who's there?" he called out, but there was no answer. Determined to find the source, Arjun started inspecting the walls. He tapped them lightly and noticed that one part of the wall behind his desk sounded different, hollow. Could there be something hidden behind this wall, he wondered. The next morning, Arjun called Ramlal to ask about the strange wall. Ramlal looked uncomfortable. I don't know much about that, Sahib, he said. But the Roy family never used this part of the house. I was always locked. Arjun couldn't let it go. He decided to investigate further. He borrowed a hammer and started removing the wooden panel from the wall. As he pulled away the wood, he discovered a hidden door, small and old with a rusty lock. Excited but nervous, Arjun forced the lock open and slowly pushed the door. It creaked loudly as it revealed a narrow, dark staircase leading down into the basement. Dust filled the air as he stepped inside. Excited but nervous, Arjun forced the lock open and slowly pushed the door. It creaked loudly as it revealed a narrow, dark staircase leading down into the basement. Dust filled the air as he stepped inside. With a flashlight in hand, Arjun descended the stairs, heart pounding in his chest. The air was cold and the walls were damp. At the bottom of the staircase, he found a large room. It was filled with old furniture covered in white sheets, but something else caught his attention. In the center of the room was a large chest, locked tightly. On top of the chest lay a letter. The paper was yellowed with age and the handwriting was delicate. The letter read, "To whoever finds this house holds a terrible secret. For years, our family has hidden it, but the truth must be known. Beware of what you uncover, for some things are better left in dark." The Roy family. Arjun's curiosity grew stronger. What could be inside the chest? He thought. He tried to open it, but the lock was too strong. He would need a key. He returned upstairs and began searching the mansion for any clue about the chest's key. He looked through drawers, behind paintings, and in closets. As he searched, he felt a presence, as if someone was watching him. The air seemed colder and shadows danced in the corners of the rooms. Finally, in the attic, Arjun found an old diary. It belonged to Mrs. Roy, the last owner of the house. The pages were filled with stories about her life in the mansion. But towards the end, the tone changed. Her writing became frantic. "There is something wrong with this house. I heard voices at night. My husband says it's just the wind, but I know better. I found the key today. It was hidden in the clock. I'm too afraid to open the chest. But what if the rumors are true? What if?" The rest of the page was smudged, making it impossible to read. Arjun now knew where to find the key. He rushed to the old grandfather clock in the hallway. As he opened the clock, there it was, the small rusted key that would open the chest. Arjun returned to the hidden room in the basement. His hands trembled as he unlocked the chest. The heavy lid creaked open, revealing its contents: old documents, letters, and a large leather-bound book. The book looked ancient. Its pages were filled with strange symbols and writings. Arjun couldn't understand them, but one name appeared repeatedly: Amrita. As Arjun flipped through the pages, he found another letter, this one more recent. It was from Mr. Roy to his wife. "Amrita is gone. I had no choice. She was dangerous and I had to protect our family." The rituals were the only way to contain her. But we must never speak of it again. Bury the past and do not let anyone uncover what we have done. Mr. Roy. Arjun's mind raced. Who was Amrita? What had the Roy family done? He felt a chill down his spine as he realized that the Roys had been hiding something terrible. Suddenly, he heard a noise. It was the knocking again. This time louder, more urgent. Knock, knock, knock. Arjun grabbed the book and ran upstairs. As he reached the top of the stairs, the lights flickered and the air grew colder. He felt a presence behind him. Slowly, he turned around and saw a shadowy figure standing at the bottom of the stairs. It was a woman dressed in white, her face hidden in darkness. Who are you? Arjun whispered, his voice shaking. The figure moved closer, but it didn't speak. Arjun backed away, his heart racing. The woman reached out her hand and the knocking grew louder, echoing through the house. Arjun realized he was in danger. He ran out of the basement and slammed the door shut. But the knocking didn't stop. It followed him through the walls, through the floors, louder and louder. Arjun knew he had to find out the truth. He couldn't leave the mansion without understanding what had happened to Amrita. He turned to the book for answers. In the last few pages, he found what he was looking for. Amrita was not just any family member. She was the first owner of the mansion, and according to the book, she had practiced dark magic. She had used rituals to gain power, but something had gone wrong. The Roy family, generations later, had discovered her secrets and had to perform their own rituals to keep her spirit locked in the house. But now Arjun had disturbed the balance. By opening the chest, Amrita's spirit was awake. Arjun realized there was only one way to stop the haunting. He had to complete the ritual described in the book. The instructions were clear, but they required courage and strength. That night, as the clock struck midnight, Arjun gathered the items needed for the ritual: candles, salt, and a piece of wood from the house. He returned to the basement, heart pounding, knowing that this was his only chance. The shadow of Amrita appeared again, watching him. The knocking grew louder, shaking the walls. But Arjun was determined. He placed the candles in a circle, sprinkled the salt around the room, and began reading from the book. The words were difficult to pronounce, but as he spoke, the air grew still. The knocking stopped and the shadow seemed to hesitate. Arjun continued, louder and clearer, until finally the shadow let out a piercing scream and vanished into the darkness. The mansion fell silent. The next morning, Arjun woke up in the mansion. Everything felt different. The air was lighter, and the house was peaceful again. He had finished the ritual and freed the house from Amrita's spirit. Ramlal arrived to check on Arjun. You look like you've been through a storm, Sahib, he said, noticing Arjun's tired face. Arjun smiled weakly. You have no idea, he replied, grateful that the ordeal was over. He had survived the hidden secrets of the mansion, and now, with the house quiet once more, he could finally return to his writing, knowing that some stories are better left untold. That's the end of the story. Thank you so much for listening. Now, जैसे कि मैंने आपसे पहले कहा कि मैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछने वाली हूँ जस्ट टू चेक योर कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, और इन क्वेश्चंस का जवाब आप मुझे देंगे कमेंट बॉक्स में, और मैं देखती हूँ कि आप में से कितने लोग सही से जवाब दे सकते हैं। ठीक है, ऐसा है कि इसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें आप इस स्टोरी के थ्रू प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं। कुछ ऐसे वर्ड्स भी होंगे जिनके मीनिंग आपको नहीं आते होंगे, बट डोंट वरी, किसी भी स्टोरी या आर्टिकल में हर वर्ड का मीनिंग जानना ज़रूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि आप कॉन्टेक्स्ट मतलब उनके आगे आने वाले वर्ड्स और पीछे आने वाले वर्ड से आप गेस कर सकते हैं कि उस पर्टिकुलर वर्ड का मीनिंग क्या होगा। तो आप उसको गेस करिए एंड आई एम श्योर आपको ओवरऑल स्टोरी का आइडिया समझ में आ जाएगा। तो लेट्स आस्क सम क्वेश्चंस। माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, व्हाट वाज अर्जुन्स प्रोफेशन? What was Arjun's profession? अब try answering in complete sentence. केवल एक वर्ड में जवाब मत दीजिएगा, ठीक है? Next one is, what did Arjun discover after pulling away the wooden panel? What did Arjun discover after pulling away the wooden panel? Next is, who was Amrita? Who was Amrita? And the last one is, what did Arjun do to let Amrita's spirit free? What did Arjun do to let Amrita's spirit free? बस ये 4 ही क्वेश्चन हैं। अगर आपने ध्यान से स्टोरी को सुना और समझा है तो आपके लिए मुश्किल नहीं होगा। मुझे कमेंट बॉक्स में आपके जवाबों का इंतज़ार रहेगा और मैं उस पर रिस्पॉन्ड भी ज़रूर करूँगी। तो until next story, take care and bye bye.